A couple of months ago, I was on Instagram scrolling through a lot of posts about growing your business. And I saw a post and I thought, this sounds exactly like 10 other businesses I follow. All of these sound alike. And then, even worse, I realized it could have been mine. With the popularity of AI and everyone trying to sound professional, we're losing what makes our business sound human. So, in today's episode, I'm going to walk you through how to uncover your brand's real personality so your messaging stands out from everyone else and it connects and converts. Let's go.
Welcome to the Higher Purpose Marketing Strategy Podcast. If you're frustrated by marketing and want to stand out from your competition, this is the show for you. Every week, we're discussing how to build a plan that attracts your best customers and aligns with your values. I'm your host, Ashley Conway, follower of Jesus, CEO of Be Weird Marketing, marketing coach, and copywriter. I promise to defeat the ick, yuck, and struggle bus feelings you may have about marketing with a few good stories and proven advice. So let's have fun and get to work.
So today, what we're going to be talking about is a continuation of what we talked about last week on finding your brand personality in 20 minutes. If you didn't get a chance to catch that last episode, I'm going to do a quick recap. So what we talked about, and I'm sure you've noticed this too, when you're looking at other businesses' marketing, at their social media posts, at their sales pages, if you're like me, they're all starting to sound exactly the same, to the point that I'm kind of getting bored. Nothing's grabbing my attention. It all just sounds kind of like Charlie Brown's teacher, remember? Just like that to me. And that's for a lot of different reasons. This robotic messaging that is everywhere right now. A lot of it is AI. Many of us, most of us, are using AI to help multiply our messaging, right? There's only so much of us to go around. So if we can give it good prompts and a good source of copy to start with, then we ask it to, repurpose this in a million different ways. But the problem is AI is pulling from the internet, everything else on the internet. So we all start to sound the exact same, robotic. Other reasons could be because you want to sound really professional. So you come off sounding a little stiff. But no matter what the cause, the antidote to that problem is to be more authentic and to add personality into your messaging. But today, we're going to talk about what is brand personality, why does it matter, and how to uncover yours in less than 20 minutes here. Let's jump in. So, what is your brand personality? This is a concept I think that's really hard to kind of put our hands around as business owners. But your brand personality is the tone and the style and the persona kind of your business uses in the marketplace. So, let me give you an example that I think will make it more clear. Imagine if your business had a spokesperson and they're front facing. They're the face of your business. They're the ones talking to your customers. But we can create this spokesperson, let's say. So we want to decide what they sound like, the words they use. We want to decide everything about them, what they look like. And that's what your brand personality is. You're building this spokesperson, so to speak, and deciding how they are going to talk to your customers and potential customers. So the best way for me to help you do that in less than 20 minutes is to just go through some rapid fire, quick questions that will help you clarify what's you and what's not you. So these are some key elements of defining your brand's personality, and I'll give you some options. And this doesn't have to be something you think about a lot. Just put down kind of your first impression. So this is a great time to get out a notebook and a pen or pop open the notes on your phone or computer, and let's get going. Okay, so choose which option sounds more like your business. And these are all things that help create the brand personality, right? So let's start with tone of voice. Would you have your spokesperson be warm and friendly, or maybe a little cheeky, kind of funny, right? Or really professional, or maybe encouraging? So those are some options of the voice that you would want them to speak in. Now, what about word choice? Would you want them to sound polished and formal? Would you want them to be casual, like conversational, as you would talking to, a person on the phone or that comes into your business? Would you want them to use metaphors, like almost and tell stories? Would you want them to be humorous, to add some funny and something funny and color when they can? That's all about word choice. Now, what about pacing? Do you want them to be rapid fire, short, punchy, get the point across fast? Do you want them to be more thoughtful, more descriptive, to kind of paint a picture, to be more soothing with their delivery? And what about energy level is number 4. Do you want someone more relaxed and calm, or do you want high energy, baby? Let's go. Is that what you're looking for in your person? Or do you want kind of in the middle where it's like this calm confidence that I know what I'm talking about, but I don't have to scream at you to get the point across? What appeals most to you? Number 5 is values and worldview. So, what do you believe? What do you stand for or stand against in your spokesperson? So, there is a little bit of a line here. So, you as a CEO or as a C suite person, your values may differ from your spokesperson that you're creating. So, what values do you want your spokesperson to have? And it doesn't have to be traditional values like you may be thinking about, like faith or the environment or any of those things. Maybe it's we stand for convenience, or we stand for um, empathy or kindness. This is what our spokesperson is going to embody. Like, so when someone interacts with them, that's what they're going to come away with because that's what we value, that type of thing. Okay, the next one would be number 6, point of view. So, do you want your spokesperson to be a guide showing someone the way, an expert? I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to speak to you as a thought leader in this area to kind of, tell people basically the thing that they should do. Do you want to be a cheerleader, encouraging people along the path? Do you want to be a challenger, or your spokesperson to be a challenger to kind of, nicely get up in someone's face a little bit and make them see, how things could be different by working with your business? And the last one is delivery. How do you want them to speak? Do you want them to be direct? We're not going to be, we're not going to be fluffy. We're going to be to the point, direct. Do you want them to be warm? Do you want them to be kind of quirky? Do you want no nonsense? Like matter of fact, A, B, C, this is what I'm telling you, in and out. And you get to choose all of those things. So just go with your gut reaction. The other thing to note here is that whatever you pick for your spokesperson, your visuals should match that. So if you have a spokesperson, that we're creating that is more warm and friendly, their pacing is thoughtful and descriptive, then you're going to want visuals that are also warm, also friendly. The colors maybe are, not bold colors, they're more soothing. So you want your visuals to match. The best person to help you do this is a graphic designer or brand designer. You can give them this brand personality that you've created, and they will create the visuals to match. And that's the ideal way to do it, because some of us, I mean, myself included, that aren't visual experts are going to have a hard time picking out those things to match your brand personality. Okay, so here are more less rapid fire, let's say, and other questions that you really want to think about just for a few minutes each one. There's just 5 of them, so you can feel free to, spend your time really thinking about these. Let's go. Number 1 is, what do you want people to say about your business when you're not in the room? So, and let's separate this. They're not talking about you, they're talking about your business. So, when they're talking about your business, let's say it's maybe a customer telling someone that doesn't know anything about your business, what do you want that customer or former customer to say about you, to describe your business as? Number two, what's something that you say a lot and not, like or let's go. I'm talking more about a phrase or a belief that defines your company. What's something, a message that you keep repeating to your team over and over and over about this is who we are, this is what the goal is. Number three, what do you never want to sound like? For example, I think for me, because I have a corporate background for many years, I don't want to sound now corporate or too formal. And some of that is hard because it gets built in. Like, let's take this conversation offline, or let's circle up about that. There are different corporate speaky things that it's hard for me. Like, I have to catch myself on those. So what's the tone you don't want to sound like? Like, I don't want to come off sounding too formal or stiff. So, or perhaps it's phrases that you're like, I just despise this. Now I can't stand deserve. If you caught some of my earlier episodes, you know why. Okay, number four is, which 2 or 3 brands do you love because of how they sound? So just think, these could be competitors. It could have absolutely nothing to do with your industry. Just brands that you see that catch your attention, or they make you smile, or you're like, I just really love the way they represent themselves. I just love their, I don't know if maybe it's vibe or style or tone or whatever it is. What appeals to you? Which brands appeal to you? And if you can try to define why. What is it that you like about them? And then the last one is, if you had a brand mascot, let's say, and this can be a real thing or person or an imagined, who or what would it be? And I know this sounds kind of loopy, but what this will do is to kind of give you a feeling for, like, what is your personality? Kind of, what do you gravitate toward as a brand? Is it somebody or a thing that's really polished? I mean, if you're like, I would like my brand mascot to be Abraham Lincoln, that is very, very different than if you want a cute kitty, since mine is beside me right now. So that's what we're going for in that one. If you had a mascot, who or what would it be? And why did you pick that? Okay, so let's go through a before and after example, just to help solidify this a little bit. So before, we're talking about a career coach here, and this is someone who is very matter of fact. I'm just going to, no nonsense, give it to you like it is. So this is how they're describing themselves, of one sentence bio: helping mid-level professionals build their resumes and prepare for interviews to advance their careers. The upside with that is it's crystal clear. The downside is, there's nothing special about this company. What makes them different from every other company that does the same thing? As a consumer, I wouldn't know. So let's look at after we give it some brand personality. Helping ambitious professionals ditch dead-end jobs, own their brilliance, and land careers they're actually excited to talk about at parties. So the thing about this is, there is a lot more color in it. They're using you can tell that they're fine with emotion, because they're using some powerful words. Dead-end jobs, owning their brilliance is kind of a powerful statement. Careers you're excited to talk about at parties, those are emotional words. You can also kind of picture, as a consumer, picture yourself, like if you're in a dead-end job or something you actually want to talk about, so that's powerful language and emotional language. So obviously for them, one of the things in their tone that they really prioritize is connection and emotion. And that's just an example of what, after you inject some of your personality, whatever those things were that you chose, how you can change your language to really feel unique. And then, like in this example with the bio, you keep hitting those key messages over and over. Ditching dead end jobs, that's a content pillar right there that you can talk about over and over. Owning your brilliance, what does that look like? And then careers you're excited to talk about. Let's dive into that and see, you don't want just a job, you don't want just something that pays the bills. This is something that you're passionate about. And that's a content pillar too. And these are 3 statements you keep on talking about because it's something your audience cares about and it's who you are as your business. Okay, so, the wrap up here is, now don't mistake me, I'm not saying polished or formal is bad. If you're a law firm, then that's probably pretty right on point, correct? But so you don't have to be loud or funny or really out there. The goal is to just be consistent. So have the same voice always, no matter what you do, to be clear so people know what it is you actually do, and to be unmistakably you. That's the point of this, is that your brand is unmistakably and uniquely you, no matter how many competitors you have. No one is going to show up exactly like you are. And it's okay. Don't be afraid that if you pick something now, you have to commit to it for the next decades, of your business. Your brand voice can evolve. Just start with where you are and what resonates with you now, and then you can tweak and refine that over time. Now, I know that this is it's a concept in marketing that is a little bit harder to nail down than some of the others. So if you're not sure about where your current messaging is at, like what's your brand personality now, you're not sure what it kind of how you want it to be, you just need somebody to bounce ideas off of, that's something that's perfect for either my Power Hour coaching, which you can schedule at beweirdmarketing.com/power hour. And it's also great if you just want somebody to go through and to audit your messaging and see where you are right now. Go to get one of my messaging audits. It's very low cost, and I can give you some recommendations and some clarity and also some next steps about where you can go from here. And you can get one of those at beweirdmarketing.com/audit. Now, for next week, we're going to be continuing in this same series. We're going to talk about, once you know your brand personality, how do you begin to apply that to everything you do, from your homepage to your Instagram bio and everything in between. So don't miss that. Thanks so much for listening, and I can't wait to chat next week.
Thanks for listening to today's show. For all things podcast, including transcripts, extra resources, and a place to submit questions for the show, visit higherpurposemarketingstrategy.com. I'd also love for you to do me 2 quick favors. 1, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and 2, share this episode with your colleagues. And that's a wrap. Meet you back here next week.